Here's the uncomfortable truth. If your AI only talks, it's often just a very polished dead end.
Exactly. Function calling is what turns a model from something that describes actions into something that can trigger them.
And that sounds small, but it changes the whole game for programmers.
Because plain text is easy to read, but hard to trust. A model can say, I booked the meeting, checked the weather, and sent the email, without actually doing any of it.
So, the first trap is thinking a convincing sentence equals a completed task.
Right. Real systems need more than fluent language. They need structured intent that software can inspect, approve, and execute.
Give me the simple version. What is function calling, really?
It means the model can choose from a list of available tools and return a machine-friendly request, like call this function with these arguments, instead of only replying in free-form prose.
So, instead of the model saying, the weather in Boston is 58 and rainy, it can say, use the weather tool with city equals Boston.
Yes, then your application calls the actual weather service, gets the real result, and can pass that result back to the model to explain it to the user.
That sounds almost obvious, but it fixes a huge weakness.
It does. Language models are great at predicting text. They are not magically connected to your database, your calendar, your payment system, or your inventory unless you wire those tools in.
And that wiring is where power shifts. The winner is not just the app with the smartest wording, it's the app that can safely do useful things.
That is the big strategic point. Function calling is the bridge between reasoning in language and acting in software.
Let's make this concrete. Say I build a travel assistant. A user says, get me the cheapest morning flight to Chicago next Tuesday.
Without function calling, the model might guess, invent prices, or summarize what it thinks a booking flow should look like. With function calling, it can ask your flight search tool for origin, destination, date, and time window.
And then, the answer comes from the airline or travel API, not from the model's imagination.
Exactly. The model decides which tool to use and how to fill in the request. The tool does the real-world lookup. That separation matters.
Because, if you blur that line, users think the AI is more capable than it is.
And that creates risk fast. In low-stakes cases, it is annoying. In high-stakes cases, it can mean wrong orders, wrong payments, or fabricated medical or legal steps.
So function calling is partly about reliability, but also about control.
Yes, your program can validate arguments, reject dangerous actions, require confirmation, log everything, and decide which tools the model is allowed to touch.
That makes the model less like an all-powerful agent and more like a smart router.
That is a good way to say it. It routes user intent into specific actions. And because the action request is structured, your software can reason about it before anything happens.
Give me another real-world example, but simpler.
Picture a support bot for an online store. A customer says, "Where is my order?" And if it is delayed, refund the shipping. The model should not just apologize in a nice paragraph. It should call an order status tool, check the shipment, and only then request a refund action if your rules allow it.
Now the stakes are obvious. If it only speaks well, it wastes time. If it acts without guardrails, it burns money.
That is why plain text is sometimes not enough. Text is ambiguous. Actions need precision.
And for programmers new to AI, that's the mental model shift. Stop asking only, what can the model say? Start asking, what tools can it choose? And what checks happen before execution?
Once you see that, function calling stops sounding like a niche feature. It becomes the core pattern for building AI that can be useful, auditable, and safe.
So, the leap is not from chatbot to genius. It's from chatbot to operator.
Exactly. When a model can reliably hand off to tools, it stops being just a good talker. It becomes a system that can earn trust by doing, not just saying.